Hello and welcome to another edition of Las Vegas Pitch Presents. We have Las Vegas agent support here today. We've got Sonia Eldar, Rachelle Van Duser, and we are going to talk about 2024 market predictions. You guys are two of my favorite people. I love talking to you about the market and what's going on. And you always have great opinions.
About my opinions.
About your opinions or about your opinions. So Sonia, I'm going to go to you.
Okay.
What is your biggest prediction for 2024 this year?
I think we're going to see a little bit of a downturn in the market in the first quarter of 2024.
Downturn
In price,
volume,
a number of volumes, but not in
number
price.
Of sales.
A number of sales, but
Okay.
not in price.
Okay.
The inventory is really, really tight. So there's a great opportunity for buyers right now. If you can get the right interest rate, don't wait. Because the minute that the market begins to shift, they're predicting second to third quarter of 2024, pretty much exploding after that. So don't wait to find out, gee, I wish I could have, should have, would have, but didn't. And now, yes, your interest rate is going to be a little bit lower, but the prices are going to be higher.
The prices are going to be higher.
So I heard somebody say something awesome the other day, and I'm going to quote, except I can't give them credit because I can't remember who said it. But it was something to the lines of date your interest rate, marry your house.
Yeah.
You can always buy. You can always refinance. Interest rates are predicted to start. They already have started going down. They're predicted to go down below 6% by the middle to the end of next year. So go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it. If you wait, you're going to regret it. A lot of people, I've had this conversation with many people that have gone through markets like this one. And I always hear, I wish I would have.
I woulda, coulda, shoulda.
That doesn't help.
Right.
You didn't. So now everybody else is cashing in while you're sitting there trying to figure out how do I get in a home, competing with 20 million other buyers. See, right now you don't have that situation.
Right. And it's scary to buy a home, right? It's scary for people to understand, gosh, should I buy now? Should I wait? Should I get into the marketplace? Because it's never comfortable to buy a home. Rachelle, you've worked with hundreds and thousands of home buyers. What is the biggest fear that they have?
The biggest fear the home buyers have? Not being able to afford the property.
Yeah.
Higher interest rates.
So the mortgage payment.
Not finding the house they want in a competitive market.
Right. Right.
So
getting out there and trying to find the right property, it's difficult right now because there are less homes. Do you think we're going to see more inventory when rates come down?
Oh, of course. Of course. There's a pent-up demand for people that have been living in their homes right now that maybe want to move, but they're not moving because they may be at that low interest rate, 3s, 4s, and they're not going to move right now and pay 8%. But if the rates are down within a few points of what they're paying, then they're going to be more apt to want to move.
Do you think, what rate level do you think there will be more sellers coming into the marketplace and go, gosh, the house that I have right now just doesn't fit. I can't live in this 1,800 square foot house with 5 kids. I need to buy a bigger home.
Right.
What rate do you think it needs to come down to for
Honestly,
sellers to kind of release and get out there again?
It seems like it's already starting to pick up, even with the rates coming down what they have. You always see a few more people trickling in as soon as the rates even go down a little bit. But anything under 6, it's going to be, I think, a lot more inventory and a lot more buyers going into the market.
So
which
kind
just
of when
goes
it
back to
touches
what
the
Sonia.
5s.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anything in the 5s, high 5s, anywhere in there, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of movement going on.
A lot of movement.
Yes.
So Sonia, back to you. So buyers are always trying to get prepared. They're ready to go, trying to get into the marketplace. What would you recommend they do to get prepared mentally to buy? Because it is a mental game, right?
It is a mental
game. It is
game.
like you have to change your mindset, set your different expectations to jump in and get it. But what would you recommend the buyer do in order to reset their mind?
Well, I think the first thing that a buyer needs to do, and by the way, I think this happens to be the biggest fear that people, especially brand new, first-time home buyers,
First-time home buyers,
is
which is 30% of the market.
It's 30% of the market. Talk to your lender. Because people,
I happen to be a lender.
yeah, he happens to be a lender, and that was the pitch.
Boy, I set you up perfectly
You set
for
me
that,
up
right?
beautifully.
I didn't know that's what was coming, but hey, I'll take it. Yeah.
I knew where you were going, right? No, I think that buyers, and I'm going to include myself in this.
Uh-huh.
I've bought multiple houses in my lifetime, right? Every time I get my credit report pulled, my heart skips a beat. I don't know what it is about it, right?
Uh-huh.
So getting the buyer, and this, by the way, is the first job of a realtor, because they tend to call a realtor first.
Yes.
Get them to talk to the lender, get them comfortable with the process. So learn.
Learn.
What is it going to take? Let's look at a few houses. Survey the area. Where do you want to live? We can change a lot of things about a property, but we cannot change the location.
Right.
Okay. So talk to your lender, talk to your realtor, and go out. Figure out where do you want to live. Figure out not so much what you qualify for, but figure out where's your comfort zone on your monthly payments.
Right.
Once you figure that out, we'll get you in the car and get you in a house and
And
pop
get
the
going.
champagne.
Well, I think that's awesome. And I think education is key. And
Key.
you guys do such an amazing job at Las Vegas Agent Support in terms of putting together a transaction. I don't think people realize how many things go into the transaction. Rachelle, you've been doing this for many, many years. What are some of the things that go into like a real estate transaction? Like a buyer comes to me and they go, gosh, what is the process? So what happens after it goes into a contract?
I guess the better question is what doesn't happen.
What doesn't happen?
There's so many things, and it's from start to finish. So, once that contract comes in, that's the nice thing. The contract comes in with the counter, and then after that, you can go about your business if you like, or you can sit there and do the paperwork, which includes scheduling talking with the lender,
Right.
Bill Gaylord, or
Another
escrow.
plug for
Plug.
Bill Gaylord.
Man, this is a good deal for them.
And I want to clarify, we're not getting paid for this.
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
And then, there's just a lot. There's scheduling the inspection. There's following up with the other agent, which nowadays seems like it's a lot more than usual because a lot of the agents there's so much involved.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to solar panels, that's one of the issues we've been dealing with lately. People
Oh,
don't know about
solar,
solar
yeah.
panel addendums and the
Mhm.
process that goes into that. Working with the escrow company, working with, title company, scheduling closing, getting the paperwork uploaded to whatever the broker they want done. That there's just so much follow-up if you're really doing your job and doing it correctly and staying on top of it. We've had so many instances where the other agent wasn't staying on top of it, but we were. And so the deal closed because you've got somebody staying on top of it. And otherwise that deal may not have closed for either agent, and then you both suffer.
Right.
So, there's just,
There's so many things.
oh my gosh,
that
people
go
don't
on.
realize, and it takes a lot of time, and it's if you do it right, it takes an exorbitant amount of time.
And it's, I have so much respect for realtors, real estate agents. I know both of you are real estate agents,
Mm-hmm.
but you have Las Vegas Agent Support, which supports the real estate agents. And I want to go back to Sonia
Uh-oh.
because I'm going to
Back
give
in the
her,
hot seat.
I'm going to give her a doozy here, because the realtor is like a psychologist, and you're the
And more.
psychologist to the psychologist.
Yes.
Right? You basically are the psychologist to the realtor
Mhm.
because you handle so many things behind the scenes. I remember you giving me a list, and I think it was like 212 things that happened during a transaction. I'm like, oh my God. So tell me how you go about really getting through the transaction with the realtor.
It's actually quite simple because we have a lot of systems in place. So when, let's say you are the realtor we're working with, and your transaction, you will get it to the acceptance. We got the counter, we got everything. Then we have what we call action plans, and we attach it, and it tells us what to do when, and making sure that nothing falls through the cracks. We take it a little bit deeper, and we try to take a look at what can go wrong.
Mhm.
Rachelle mentioned solar. They're becoming the vein of my existence. Very difficult, transferring assumptions, sales, whatever. So we are getting ahead of the ball game. It's really what it's all about.
Yeah.
Our concept is really twofold. One of them is it takes approximately 15 to 20 hours after a contract goes into escrow to the closing.
15 to 20 hours.
15 to 20 hours of basically paperwork, phone calls, coordinating, yada, yada. Okay. If you were an agent and I was to give you the gift of time, if I were to give you 15 to 20 hours back into your life,
Yeah.
what could you do with that? Could you come up with another 2 or 3 or maybe 4 transactions?
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. So that's the goal behind us.
Yeah. And you do such an amazing job with it. And I think the other thing that ends up happening too is real estate agents, everybody's good at something.
Correct.
Right? Sometimes some are, the gift of gab, the
Mhm.
gift of negotiation. Some people are not so good at paperwork. And a lot of the stuff behind the scenes that has to happen, dotting the I's and crossing the T's, that's what you handle and do it seamlessly so that the transaction closes
on time. And so
smoothly.
to free the agent so that they can have that extra time to apply in any way that they wish. They could apply it towards gaining additional business. They could apply to taking a vacation. As a matter of fact, I have an agent that was just gone for 6 weeks and who shall remain nameless. And it was seamless.
Seamless.
He came back and he said, I can't believe how
I
this
closed
went.
5 transactions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said to him, well, don't take it to heart. You are not going back out again. Okay. But that is the concept. I guess
Yeah.
that's how you put it best.
Yeah.
Getting into escrow. Now we keep them completely informed throughout the transaction. They get written reports. They get verbal reports. We did talk to their clients to a certain level because we're not the realtor. So we take a lot of stuff off their plate
Yeah.
and let them focus on what they do best. If you work on your strengths,
Yes, I agree.
that's
Focus
really,
on the strengths and let others
and let
help
others
you on the other piece of the
delegate and
transaction.
supervise is what I
Delegate and
like
that.
to call it. Delegate, but then supervise.
Okay.
And the other one is training and learning and teaching and coaching. Like agents tend to think I got my real estate license and I know everything, and I just giggle because I giggle. I really giggle quietly, but I giggle. When I got my license, I was in that place where I thought, I'm all that in a bag of potato chips, right? And guess what? Then I learned I didn't know anything,
I know.
right? So I was
It's crazy.
fortunate. I had a really good mentor.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, find one.
Yeah.
Get a coach, get a mentor if you want to get it
Good.
to the next level.
Good point. All right, we're going to go to last words, Rachelle.
Oh God, Rachelle.
I
that's
know.
you.
Last word.
That's your friend, by the way.
My partner. my
Remember
business partner.
me?
Yes, I remember you.
So, Rachelle, last words.
Okay.
What would you recommend a buyer in today's market consider getting into the marketplace right now? What should they do right now?
First thing they should do is speak to a lender.
God, I
like
know that
Bill
that keeps coming
Gaylord.
back to me, but I'm not meaning that.
You know?
But it's prepared.
Yes,
right?
you have to be prepared. Get a good lender, and well, before that, obviously, have a good agent. Find a knowledgeable, not just a good agent, but a knowledgeable agent who has been in the market for a little while, knows the ups and downs, can hook you up with the good lender, and be prepared, because that way you'll be prepared when those interest rates do drop, and you can jump in and be ready to go.
Experience, I think, helps can
Experience,
really
yes.
make
Yes.
a big difference.
Exactly.
Number of transactions. All right, Sonia, over to you. I'm going to give you another one. Our home value is going to be higher next year over this year.
I think by the end of next year, absolutely.
We're going to see higher.
I
home
think we're
values.
going to see a little bit of a downturn just while we are getting our feet settled. But I think that by the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, we're going to have a run. We really are. And if you're a buyer, my biggest advice is don't sit on the sidelines and wait for it to fall on your lap. I can guarantee you it's not going to. Get into
Make
it.
it happen.
Get into it. Make it happen. Interview a realtor. Get somebody that you feel comfortable with, that you can communicate with. Same thing with a lender. And then there's no commitment. Start shopping.
Yeah.
Start shopping and keep an eye on the market. And if you are currently an owner and you're thinking of selling, my suggestion is that you do exactly the same thing. Keep an eye on the market, keep informed. And an agent can totally do that for you.
That's awesome. Well, good stuff today.
Yes.
We'll go back this way. We'll go that way.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you for joining us. And we'll see you next
Thank you for
time on
having